I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak with Weather 2020. I just took a look outside here in Golden, Colorado. The clouds just lifted a little bit, a little break from the rain, and I can see all the snow about 2,000 feet above me on some of the mountains. I'm about to go on a snow chase. The storm system is fascinating. It is right on schedule. We are in the blizzard, the Kansas City blizzard part of the cycling pattern. I'm going to clearly show it to you and try to get you to see the LRC. It's very, very interesting, this setup right now. Absolutely fascinating. So let's take a look. All right, let me get my glasses and get rolling with you guys. All right, we're going to start by taking a look at our first slide. Spring is throwing us some curveballs. All right, we are providing the order and chaos on this May 6, 2025 report. Look at the latest satellite picture. Here's the storm over New Mexico. Lots of rain in New Mexico, the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma. As these bands of rain head towards Kansas City, they weaken because look, this storm system perfectly in an omega block, which I'll show you in a minute, created dry conditions, dry air over the plains in upper Midwest, and that's why it's so clear. When you see the dark, that's clear skies. Here's the storm system. So more on this in just a second. Here is the current storm that came across Southern California on May the 4th and has moved out, as you can see, moving in the plains. And we had this omega block, and here's the storm system that's up to the north and east now. But look closely. Look very closely. Here's January 4th. Remember, it's a 40 to 41 day cycle. You can't make this up. It's exactly on cycle. Here's the storm, here's this storm, but there was blocking up to the north. So look at that. Here's this storm and this storm. But this is now. This is May the 6th. All right? And look, on January the 4th, you have the storms almost in the same spots. See that? Look at that. It's pretty amazing. So what happened in January is we had this, what we call high latitude blocking. If you remember, we talked about the AO went deep negative. It caused this block up here, and that forced Arctic air to come down, and this storm came across and produced the situation where we had a blizzard and 11 inches of snow in Kansas City. So this became the blizzard, high latitude blocking, and the low. Let's go to right now. This storm is the current storm coming across. We had an omega block. Instead of the block up here, okay, instead of the block all the way up here, it's down here, and we had an omega block, and that's why it's so dry in the plains. Despite these storm systems, the plains stay dry. So interesting. But this storm's coming out now. It's directly related to this. I mean, you can't make it up. So look at these two lows. There they are. Here they are. There they are. That's the LRC. It's one big way to see the LRC in one snapshot in time. All right. Kevin Van Trump posted this map in the Van Trump report on Monday, and I had drawn it up, and it's really interesting. Healthy growing conditions right now over the blue areas. As you can see here, watch areas, moderate concern. So these are moderate concern areas, although not after today. All this rain that fell in here today and snow. But still a concern over the southwest. And then this area across Nebraska, South Dakota, still a concern area. Maybe more of a concern up here too. We'll have to watch the Pacific Northwest. Here's the rainfall since April the 1st. And you can see we continue to be dry across parts of Nebraska and South Dakota. But there was lots of relief across Montana, northern South Dakota, and through Fargo, North Dakota. So that's good news. And then this has been the wet region just south of Kansas City. The outlook for the next 15 days, the Euro I model has painted out this dry area across South Dakota, northern Nebraska, northwest Iowa, and Minnesota, and lots of rain all around it. So we'll see how it really sets up. I don't have confidence in this. And then the GFS American model has two pockets of dry, parts of North Dakota and parts of Nebraska. So a lot of you have gotten your planting in for the season, and there's rain in the forecast, but you can see it's still not widespread. So very interesting weather pattern. This is the outlook from the American model for the next 15 days ending May 21st. All right, look at the drought. This was the drought conditions on November the 5th. Watch again. If you're watching for the first time, I want to show you this. Watch the drought. This is a D3 drought, a D2 drought. Look at what happens by April 29th. So it goes way down. It grows over the southwest and it shrinks over the plains. Look at this, from Illinois and Indiana back to Missouri and Iowa. Watch this whole region from Ohio. The drought went away completely. So we're starting the season with ideal conditions in many spots, but still a struggle across Wyoming, western South Dakota, western Nebraska, as you can see there. So again, there's November 5th, there's April 29th. Here's April 20th in 1 week. Watch what's happening in 1 week. See this? In 1 week, watch this drought area of South Dakota. It decreases. So it's still decreasing at this moment. Weather 2020 has the crystal ball of weather forecasting in the LRC. The weather pattern is cycling. I just showed you. It is literally right on schedule. You can't make it up. All right? But why is it such a big secret? Because as I showed you, look at those maps closely. You could argue, when you look at those maps I just showed you, they don't look the same to me. But they are. All right? And every cycle. I could have done one of those things where I showed you every single cycle. We can see hints that there would be a mega block and a mega block this week. So could I have predicted that stronger? Yeah, I could have. But we learned. Right? As I said, this weather pattern throws us some curveballs. The storm systems tracking across the southern plains is directly related to the January blizzard. Blocking has influenced this pattern, pushing the rain south this time. Good news, less severe weather, because this could have been a severe weather outbreak. I predicted a severe weather outbreak this week. Instead, it's a storm without severe weather, which is hard to do in May. The LRC model through September. Okay, I just did the whole United States today. Here's the whole United States from the LRC model, the patent pending model, the only model in the world that is able to even do this, from May 15th to September 30th for the United States. Still problem areas up here, as you can see, 50 to 80% of average over this region of the northern plains is the forecast, and then very wet just south of there. We'll see how the summer sets up. It'll be interesting if this zone is wet during the summer too. It may migrate and cover your area up here. Let's hope so. So it comes farther north. Not sure yet about that one. Iowa. Look at Iowa. If you have the dashboard here, you can go hover over your county or go right down into your county and get your forecast. Iowa, just not bad. 80% to 90% is the lowest amount. So it's adequate rainfall expected. Near average rainfall over most of Iowa. A couple of dry areas possible. This is the outlook for Iowa. I put this map into the report. And then look, you can see the cycling pattern. Late May and early June. Late May to mid-June. This is a wet period. 3 straight weeks of chance of lots of rain. Okay? We'll hope to maximize this before summer gets here. And then, if you go back, here is mid-July, 3 weeks. Those 3 weeks come back. And then as we go into September, here's that wet period again. And especially late September, it really gets wet before the new LRC sets up. And if you're interested, contact Bryce at weather2020.com, or you can get the dashboard now direct at weather2020.com. So let me just tell you, I am pretty wiped out, so I'm not going to write as much in this, and I'm about burnt out on that. But I've been working the double shift, basically. So I was on the air this morning. I'll be on the air tomorrow morning on KSHP. I'm just filling in for 11 weeks. Then I'll get my life back. I'm loving it. I'm loving connecting with my viewers, my fans, people out there in Kansas City, and I get to talk about the weather, which I love to do. All right, I know it's complex. Let me know if you have any questions. We are sharing a secret with you. The LRC. It's a big scientific secret to this day. Yes, a lot of you are experiencing it. It's, but as I said, the weather pattern's throwing us some curveballs. But listen, I was a pretty good hitter. Throw a curveball to me, you can still blast it out of the park. Just have to know it's coming. We try to let you know. Some of them we might miss. Most of them we let you know way in advance. All right, have a good day, guys. Thank you, and I appreciate you guys. And I'll post this now. I'm babbling. Have a good day. I'm gonna go snow chasing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Sublette again, and of course, I am lead forecaster for Radford Media Group. We are a kind of a combination of a few radio stations here in West Central Missouri, 95.3, 104.9. I do the forecasting for them. I'm also an atmospheric science researcher and a proud member of Midwest Meso Project. And that was Gary Lezak. For those of you who might remember Gary Lezak, he was a former KSHB meteorologist in Kansas City for several years, and he is also a close friend of mine. And of course, you guys are familiar, hopefully, with Subby's Weather Talk. That is a Facebook, all social media platform that I use, that I've been using over the last 6-7 years to keep our area here in West Central Missouri safe. And we are actually corporate sponsors and members of the LRC and Weather 2020. So as you can see on your screen right now, this is the dashboard. This is something that I proposed to the team, and you're talking about a lot of information. This actually can tell us where these severe storm systems are going to set up, when we can expect them. I've had the same dates on my dry erase board since the day after Thanksgiving when our big storm events was going to happen. And of course, we're talking about the January 7th snowstorm that we had here in western Missouri, eastern Kansas. I'm talking about the Valentine's Day snowstorm. I'm talking about the April 2nd tornado outbreak that had a tornado on the ground that did damage in Nevada, as well as 2 confirmed tornadoes in Bates County. So all of those dates were up on my dry erase board, all based upon the LRC. So again, what we're going to try to do here at Midwest Meso Project is kind of bring science and the thrill of the chase and education. We're going to try to mesh them all together to give you a more in-depth look at the atmosphere and the weather around us. Now, we're all going to still be doing our live storm chasing and live on Subby's Weather Talk on our regular channels, but this is going to give us an opportunity to kind of take a deep dive into meteorology and atmospheric science. And we got some great projects already lined up. I'm so excited. I continue to post videos on our site mainly because I can't. I'm like a 15-year-old. I'm all giddy, ready for my first car. So we're very excited to be able to bring this to you guys. We have, again, so many different ideas and projects lined up for the rest of 2025 and into 2026. And I wanted to showcase the LRC and Weather 2020. And again, basically, it is a cycling weather pattern that sets up in October. And once we see 500 millibar chart, which is 18,000 feet above our heads, that's where the jet stream is at. And of course, the jet stream, it's the steering wind of all of the storm systems. If we know where the jet stream is and where the jet stream is going, then we know where the storms are going to be. And every year it sets up a pattern. There'll be different amount of days in between the cycles. This year is between 40 and 41 days. So if we know how long the cycle is, and then it's going to repeat itself afterwards, our long range forecasting goes through the roof. We can actually project out 6 to 10 months ahead of time what the weather is going to do at any given spot around the globe. So there are some small influences, such as the Arctic oscillation. We have the El Nino, La Nina. There are some small influences that can affect the LRC, but for the most part, the LRC is the biggest piece of that puzzle. And of course, we know where those severe storms are going to set up because we know where that storm system is going to be, where that low pressure system is going to be located. And we can set up our chasers well in advance to get ready to head out on the field to make sure you guys stay informed and protected. So, very exciting stuff. The LRC has already come out here about a month and a half ago with their severe storm projection. So far, it's been right at 90% accurate. They also have their hurricane predictions, in which the LRC and Weather 2020 #1 in the world, in which last year they were over 95% accurate on not just when a hurricane could form, but where it was going to go. They knew exactly where that hurricane or tropical system was going to make landfall. And they are miles above any other organization, whether it's government or private, on the projections of hurricane 3 years in a row. And of course, we have that information at our disposal as well. Not that we're going to be directly impacted here in eastern Kansas, western Missouri with a hurricane or a tropical system, but if one of those come up from the south, from the Gulf of America, you know as well as I do, it does affect our weather pattern and can affect us to some degree. So we have that at our disposal. And then as we get a little closer to the fall and into the early part of winter, we're also going to have the LRC winter report, which it's going to actually show us when and where those winter storm systems could affect you here in the Midwest. So really kind of a backbone to my research on a independent level, and I'm sharing this with the team so that we can stay just a step ahead to make sure you guys have all that information to your benefit to help keep you guys informed and protected of any severe storms this spring. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Welcome to Midwest Meso Project. We're excited to have you guys come on board. We're going to have so much more information and more videos out there on our YouTube page. We can't wait to get this content out there to you guys. So have a fantastic weekend. We have a great weekend as well as the first few days of next week. We do have some storm systems that will likely be poised to come through eastern Kansas, west central Missouri as we go toward the end of next week into the weekend. So you definitely want to stay weather aware and make sure you guys follow us, as we'll keep you guys in the know of any severe weather in our area. Take care, guys, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.